on this channel we like to laugh and joke, and we I play a lot of video games. I review a lot of video games, and I make music on here, and I talk about my writing sometimes. But that's the real stuff. That's the serious stuff. The stuff where you make a choice, and everything's different for the rest of your life. That's the stuff I'm talking about. And when those things happen, people are going to engage or people are going to disengage. Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bulls Central. If you don't mind, it's a little bit cold in the house today, so I thought I'd wear this hat for the warmth. I'm wearing layers. It's pretty cold today. My mom made this hat, by the way, so props to my mom. Just wanted to do one of these mental health discussion videos because these are really important to me. I get a lot of good feedback on these. I get a lot of, sometimes some slightly weird feedback too, but I think that's just par for the course when you're putting stuff on YouTube. But for me, they kind of help. They're just on a purely personal level, a selfish level. They kind of help me because they give me like a second degree of therapy. I get to talk about things that have, been bothering me or that are on my mind or that I want to talk to people about out there. I hope that some people get use out of them. I'm, again, not a licensed clinical anything, psychiatric anything. I'm just a sufferer of mental illness. I've suffered from mental illness since I was a kid, and then in my 30s I developed schizoaffective disorder on top of all of it. So I've been engaging a lot with, there was a period in my life, and I've talked about it at length on a lot of these videos, so I don't want to go into it too much just to retread old ground, but there was a period where I was under psychosis. So I was behaving very erratically and doing things very erratically and seeing and hearing things and believing things that were not there, were not real. And in the process, I caused some harm to some people, including my wife, including, her family still feels the shocks of it, including a lot of friends of mine who are no longer friends of mine, just because of how I was behaving in that kind of era of my life. And I don't really make any excuses for it, and I think that's important not to, because I think it dishonors, there's two ways to do this. You can either accept the blame completely, or you can kind of accept that what happened, and that you may not be completely to blame, but that your actions were yours, and ultimately you have to fess up to it. You ultimately do have to pay for it, unfortunately, because it was you doing it. For me, I didn't know what was happening to me. Nobody around me knew what was happening to me. We don't have this sort of mental illness in my family, running in my family. I'm kind of unique in this. And, my wife, she didn't know. No one understood. I was just starting to behave very crazy. I don't want to use that word. I hate using that word because I know that's a trigger word. I was behaving erratically. And indeed, some bad things happened. We're all still here. We all survived it. Maybe even we're better for it. But really what I talk about is the fact that regret is such a big thing when you're mentally compromised. Because it's so strange because you know that you didn't really have a choice about how things went down. You like to think under better circumstances I wouldn't have behaved that way, I wouldn't have said that, I wouldn't have done that thing, and maybe that's true. Probably that's true. And so how much responsibility really is yours as an autonomous human being, and how much belongs to the circumstances, and how much belongs to your affliction that's kind of a hard thing to suss out. And I think it's hard for other people. Maybe it's harder for other people because some of the things that I did, like I said, I still have family members who view me completely differently than they did before. They won't really, they won't even really let me near them without some kind of like buffer, because I frighten them so much. And I'm not a frightening guy. It's just, that's just what happened. That's just how it happened. I was out of control. I was completely out of control. On this channel, we like to laugh and joke, and we play a lot of video games. I review a lot of video games, and I make music on here, and I talk about my writing sometimes. But that's the real stuff. That's the serious stuff. The stuff where you make a choice, and everything's different for the rest of your life. That's the stuff I'm talking about. And when those things happen, people are going to engage or people are going to disengage. And for me, a lot of people did disengage. And so it kind of becomes this thing of, if I'm never going to see these people again, if I'm never going to talk to them again, if they're just going to be over there and I'm just going to be over here, the truth is that there are two competing narratives in that instance. There's how I feel about my life and me, and then there's how they feel about my life and me. And this is just a quick piece of advice. Don't let their way of seeing things become yours, because their way of seeing things, the benefit of the doubt, they do the best they can with their point of view, and so do you. But I think if you're doing your best to take care of yourself, and you are trying to be the best person that you can be, I think you know yourself better than someone who doesn't like you much anymore. I think you know what I'm talking about. I think you have to, at some point you have to become like strong about this. Like, someone perceives you as crazy. Well, what's your story? What's your narrative? Yes, I do have mental illness. That is the case. But I'm not crazy, and I'm not dangerous, and I'm not scary. I'm not those things. And you know that about yourself, right? So you may never be able to convince that person of that fact, that you're not those things. You may never be able to do that. But you know who you are. So don't let their competing version of things impact you. That's kind of what I've been dealing with a lot lately. Also kind of going through another manic phase, because I've been producing a lot of content. I produced like four video game videos and just a bunch of other stuff, and I remastered my first album, and I'm putting that out here in about a week or two or whatever. And so it's like, but actually, the basis for that is that I stopped being able to take my medication, one of the key medications that helps me regulate. So that's what the upside looks like. You invariably kind of stumble backward a little bit, and that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm fighting those two things. I'm fighting competing versions of my story, my version or my vision for myself, and then just the mental illness knocking on the door, bad days, just feeling out of sorts, feeling a little bit cranky, touchy, you know what I'm saying? And that, trust me, you're a joy to be around when you're like that. The point is that if you're on this journey, if you're on this path, you've got to know that there are some times you are not going to be 100%. You're not even going to really resemble yourself in some ways. And the truth is that when you come out of that, and then you're back to being you, and you're thinking back, oh my God, why did I do that? Why did I say that? You're going to have to get strong. You're going to have to get strong about it. There's no other way to say that. Like, you're just going to have to get strong and acknowledge your frailties, your the things that you have to compromise on because you're just human. You're just doing the best you can. And this thing really is, it, you know, far be it from me to criticize or try to contradict what the professional psychiatric community says, but like, they want you to have all the control in the world sometimes. They want you to, like, they really want you to, like, bear down on this and get this done and get this done, like, be this all of a sudden. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes, like, sometimes it's just a bad day. I'm not saying you have no control. And I'm not saying that you're not culpable. Like, ultimately, you are responsible for all of this stuff. And that's kind of a little unfair, I would say, but it's the truth. So, me and my winter hat. I love this hat. I love this hat. I think the last thing I want to just kind of say on that note is that it's easy to be, for lack of a better word, it's easy to be soft. It's easy to let this beat you down and to get soft about it. It's real easy. But you do have at least one choice here. You can, man, you can succumb to it, and that's not pretty. Or you can fight. You do have that ability. You do have that freedom. You can fight it. Whatever that means to you, in a safe way, in a nurturing way, in a way that does get the help of people, help professionals, family, even friends that you trust. You can either get soft or you can get hard about it. You can fight. And more often than not, that's what I choose, man. I try. On a bad day, I try. And on a good day, I thank God for the good day, and then venture on and try to get stuff done that I want to have happen, whatever that looks like on that day. And you know, it may feel artificial at first, but try a little positivity. Like, try a little positive thinking. Try a little, even like a little bit of self-talk can help. But try a little positive thinking. Try a little, like, because it's easy to see the negative. Like, it takes no additional thinking to see the negative when you're down like that. It's automatic. That's what it is. So fight for yourself, fight, and try just a little, if you can, to separate yourself from that negativity. Just put a barrier there and say, count your blessings. Try that. Like, that's an old school thing, man. Like, that was a Bing Crosby song, count your blessings. That's a thing that, like, our grandparents and great grandparents and stuff, that's a thing they used to know how to do, was count their blessings. Count them. Even if you think you have zilch, count them. Try to find some. Count them. I swear to God, it can work miracles. But it's not. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying you have to fight. You have to fight. You have to fight for yourself. But I don't. Again, like, I don't feel like people who can't are failures. I don't feel like people who can't fight or are just so down. I've been there. And for me, another day came. And when there's always another day, there's always hope. But for some, even that, there is no more days. And I'm just saying, If you are in a position where you can fight for yourself, do it. Don't even think about it. Do it even if it seems counterintuitive, especially if it seems counterintuitive, because if fighting for yourself sounds like not the truth, you're in a bad spot. I promise, because that's just not the way that our minds are supposed to work. Take example from the well-thinking people around you. Yeah, take example from the people who are thinking good. So, okay, I'm going to cut it short because I'm about out of battery on this thing. Like, subscribe, Jeff Bulls Central, notification bell. See you next time. Bye-bye. Sorry, it ran out of juice. Hey everybody, do me a favor, check out my my latest music album thingy. Can't call it a CD anymore because there's none of those really. It's on Spotify and iTunes and Amazon Music and Tidal and Pandora and all these places. It's even for free here on my YouTube channel. Just go to my channel page and check out my albums. Good music, rock music mostly, some acoustic stuff, some pop stuff, some blues stuff. I think you'll like it. If you don't like it, I guess you can try to get a refund from Spotify because it's not going to come from me. Anyways, goodbye.